it is a danger game for Port Adelaide. Carlton at home, Saturday 1:40 p.m. at the MCG. Port have won their last two games over the Blues. Bazar, let's have a look at the Carlton lineup and what possibly could be.
Yeah, well, the big news was obviously Chris Judd, but there's some more big news in the out front is Daisy Thomas out for the season with that shoulder injury. That's a real tragedy for them. Bryce Gibbs comes back in. Michael Jamieson, he's been out for 6 weeks with a calf, so we'll see if he puts his hand up. Chris Young's been pretty good in the reserve grade of footy, 23 possessions and 1 goal last week against Coburg. But they're playing with some real energy, Carlton. We've seen last week, fantastic game against Adelaide. And you know when a team's up and about, when a team kicks a goal and everyone gets around, there's some genuine excitement. They've got it within 2 weeks. It's been fantastic to see. We don't want to see Carlton struggle the way they have. And the energy they got, they're playing some more consistent football through the corridor. You got Casbolt, you got Cruiser looking dangerous up forward. Murphy really stepped up last week, 36 possessions. They're looking good, Carlton. Look, they mightn't win games, but if they bring that energy they did a couple of weeks ago, the fans won't be disappointed at all.
No doubt about that. And if Chris Young can get back in and get in some form. Also, a young kid they're speaking highly of, Nick Holman, is doing pretty well in the league underneath. Now, they might just go for the father and son and pull it on a young lad who kicked half a dozen for the Vicks against West Australia. They weren't terribly competitive, the West Australian lads, but young Sauce kicks half a dozen up forward. You've seen a fair bit of it.
It is. It's great for him to do that. You're right. West Australia in their first game played well against South Australia, have dropped away since that point, and Vic Metro finally got their game going as well. But for me, with Jack, it was more. There was a contest where there was he got one in the back of the ear. Get used to that, young fella. You'll cop a few more of them.
The old man give a few of them.
But there was a contest when they played Vic Country at Simmons in their first game. And look, he didn't dominate that game at all, but there was one pack mark that he took where you just sat back and went, that's just something to work with right there.
So how big is he?
Oh, he's probably 6'2", maybe 6. Yeah, he's got a fair bit of size about him.
So
and
he's
17? He's 17, turning 18, I think, and he's just got that size about him already, and he looks a likely type. So they'll have a decision to make the Blues at the end of the year.
Keep going while you got the floor there with the Port Adelaide lineup.
Let's go with the power, and you look across. They could get Trengove back, which would be much needed in that defensive end. Matt White's out with the hammy injury. Kane Mitchell, they may consider him as well because there's some speed on the outside, which is something that they need, especially if they're going to continue to play the way that they like to play. And I think that's the big question at the moment. It's more about how they're going as a side. Some of their tricks aren't working, like the coast-to-coast goals that we saw last year with Matt White getting out the back. That's not happening anymore. Sides are setting up really well against that. But all their numbers are down as well. So we look through here in 2014 to 2015. Points for 100 down to 81. Scores from turnovers is down, so they're not getting it back as often and scoring from that. And then obviously the scores per inside 50. So they're not as effective because of the way sides are actually slowing them up, making them stay wide. There's a lot more stoppages in their games as well. So they've got a fair bit of work to that. And you look at the Cats, the way they played them last week, and they really did block the corridor up really, really well. And I think that's the key for me in the way they play and how they might need a bit more flexibility here, Baz. When you look at this, look at Geelong's setup there. Okay, I think the Power are trying to do their fat side run from too deep now. Sides are picking it up from this point. I think they need more control, maybe with foot skills, move more for each other because they're all so stagnant here. They're not moving into spaces to break up the zone of the Cats. Get that kick on the 45 going back in, and that's where you create your power run from the player that's on that back end of the square. He then goes to the fat side. You've got the one near the third umpire there, or the back umpire. He takes off as well. I think they're trying to do it too deep at the moment. Cold possession, keep control of it, get to half back, and then pull the trigger on that because actually the defence will keep sliding. It'll open up more room that you're looking to play into.
It's great vision.
Terrific. For everybody else who's playing them.
Yeah, it is.
And I've never
But they need to change it up.
They do. I've never seen a game with so many out of bounds on the full. I think it was a world record.
Because they played them so close.
That's exactly right. And they're playing to defend that because they think from the chaos that comes from throw-ins, they've got a better chance of scoring.
Really liked what Ken Hinkley said as well. He said, we got through last year, but now the evolution of this team, we've actually got to learn against these styles of play. We took everybody last year, now we've got to learn how to play against it. So, I thought it was really well stated by the coach. So he's put the challenge out to them. Let's go to you, Baz. Who are you going for? Can you see an upset, my friend?
I can't. Carlton will make a game of it, but I think Port will get the chocolates.
Gee, they're up and going, Carlton. They really are. I reckon if had Yarram, they might have taken Adelaide last week. So they're going to be a very difficult team for Port to beat. But Port should and will win.
I agree. Port will win. I've been following Baz with my tipping recently, and I'm starting to go
Killing it,
okay.
aren't you?
So yeah, so I'm going to keep that trend going.
Well, I've got Port on parole again.
Oh,
If
really?
they lose another one, they're off. So I've got them back on for a win this week. But if they lose this one, you're off parole and you're in the sin bin. All right.